Today we're taking a look at all 47 weapons confirmed for Battlefield 6. For obvious legal reasons, I'll be showing you their real-life counterparts using the closest available images that match the in-game variants. I also drop fun facts about some of the more interesting guns, and at the end I'll give you my personal take on the current loadout. Quick disclaimer, the game is still in development, so everything is subject to change, but hopefully we'll see even more weapons at launch. Without further ado, let's dive in. Starting with the assault rifles, we're getting 8 rifles from various countries and manufacturers, beginning with HK433, A32, HK243 S-Star. Now before we continue, if you're actually looking at the gun purely based on the design, we're going to get the semi-automatic civilian variant of G36 rifle. The TAR model I mentioned earlier is actually just the tactical version of the gun with slim aluminum handguard and other improvement. This is kind of weird since we're getting a semi-automatic weapon in AR class, but there's a high chance DICE will modify the weapon for gameplay balances. I mean, there's no way they would just leave the gun there and not putting it in DMR class. Not to mention, the gun is intended for a sporting rifle too in real life, so it would be kinda unfit. Next up, we got G3A4. The rifle itself is not purely G3A4 by design though. I can see that they're trying to mix the G3A4 base with a free-floating barrel and an M-lock handguard, something I've never seen before in G3A4. Now, I think I can see that this is becoming some sort of trend for Battlefield 6 weapon design. It seems like DICE is trying to make the gun they bring into the game to be more modern and tactic cool. I believe it's done to fit the lore narratives of the game, being a warfare set in around 2030. Then we have L85A3, IWI Tavor 7, A545, or 6P67 Cord, or AK971's successor. If you played Battlefield 4, you'd be familiar with the iconic AK971. Well, this gun is originated from that design work. Fun fact, the A545 has a balanced automatic recoil system. It employs synchronized counter-moving masses driven by dual gas pistons and a rack and pinion mechanism to neutralize recoil forces, resulting in significantly reduced muzzle rise and enhanced automatic fire control. Russia's military deemed it very accurate but more complex and costly to produce, so the adoption of this gun in real life has actually been limited to Spetsnaz and special units so far. Lastly, in the air class is the Scar L. Before we continue, if you find this content useful, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I will be posting more Battlefield news, gameplay, and other interesting FPS shooters, so be sure to check that out. Moving on, from Carbine class, we're going to get Scar SC, the tiny baby brother of Scar L. QBZ192, AK205, HK417A2, SIG XM7, SIG SG553. Another interesting configuration because according to the leaks we received, the upper receiver design is taken from SIG 556 Classic SWAT, especially from the Picatinny rails on the handguard, but the magazine from the lower receiver itself is actually more curved, presumably taken from SG553R to fit a 7.62 round, so it's a mix and match design of 2 different weapon configurations. Then we also got FB MSBS Grot B. Moving on to SMG class, we got APC-10, SIG MPXK, Chris Vector 2.1, HK MP7A2. I chose this variant because it depicts the in-game better than the stock or A1 variant, which only had folding foregrip instead of triple rail handguard we got in the game. Next is UMP40, P90, and one unidentified SMG. I've never seen this SMG before, and even after I tried doing reverse image search, the results are still none. And the last from SMG class is the MP5 MLI. MLI stands for Midlife Improvement. It's a modernized variant of the classic 9x19mm MP5. The MLI upgrade adds a 3-position retractable stock, a slim polymer forearm with multiple accessory rails, and an extendable SB folding stock on the receiver. It essentially brings the MP5s into the 21st century by letting users mount optics or lasers. For LMG, we got M240L, XM250, M249, MG4, RPKM, M60E6, Ultimax 100, ooh, the name is hard somehow, and M27IAR. For DMR, we have SVCH. Now, this gun is based on the earlier SV98 rifle, but adds a semi-auto action and modern ergonomics. It was created as a new generation replacement for the Dragunov SVD. As of 2025, the weapon's viability is still being evaluated, but it has been ordered in small numbers for trials in real life. Next up, we got SVDM, M39 EMR, and one unidentified DMR with angular grip and pop-up configuration. It's the same thing like the SMG. I can't figure out what that gun is. For bolt action rifle, we got M2010, Barrett MRAT, spicy. And SV98M. M stands for modernized, which means that this gun is a modernized version of SV98, same like RPKM or SVDM I mentioned before, which is a modernized version of SVD and RPK. For shotguns, we got M1014, Mossberg 590A1, and 185 KSK. So we got 2 semi-auto shotgun and 1 pump action. Last but not least, for the pistols, we got SIG M18, M327 TRR8, Glock 22, Colt M45A1, and Taurus Raging Hunter Magnum. I hope they bring back the 3x scope just for the fun of it. Now, I can't really complain much with the amount of weapon we got so far. I think for fully auto guns, we have plenty of cakes to taste for. We got some solid choice of 5.56 and 7.62, and it's a nice touch that they bring back some legacy guns from older titles, but with them being on 1 or 2 generations above than we get back in Battlefield 4, like the HK243, L85A3, Tavar 7, A545, and SV98. I see that DICE is trying to bring a modernized loadout into the game to fit the narratives while making gun customization more feasible at the same time by bringing more Picatinny rails for some older weapon. The only thing that's lacking in my opinion is the selection of DMR and bolt action rifles. I wish they would add some iconic weapons like Mark 11 Mod 0 or Gold Magnum, or just add more weapon variety in general to incentivize people playing Scout and make their progression there, because honestly just 3 bolt actions, that's really underwhelming. Now of course the amount of weapon is comparably less than Battlefield 3, 4, and 1, but I hope with the amount of time they cut by bringing less weapon, they would focus on bigger things like making the game run smoother, fixing latency, netcode, and bugs in general, so we will all have a pleasant experience on day 1. Alright, I guess that's all from me though. Hope you all have a great fucking day. Stay healthy, eh?